of Misadventures of Sherlock Holmes, Episode 8, as part of the continuing series, Usually Whimsical, the Joe Bevilacqua Radio Theater Collection. I'm your host and producer, Joe Bevilacqua. Now, when last we met Sherlock Holmes, he was in the middle of detailing a very strange story, hard to believe, actually, about a giant rat. And, actually, when we left him, he was just being cornered by Jack the Ripper. So let's continue with that story, which this time is entitled Tales from the Vienna Wars. You'll find out why.
You mean you're not going to slash me?
Oh, wait a minute, Gov. I didn't say that. But here, I brought you a little gift. A brand new 16-piece starter set of exquisite dinnerware. Oh, nice.
I would have preferred spoons. Let 'em have it, gang! Suddenly there loomed in front of me 15 giant oysters and one giant cat. On her collar was the name Teresa. They were all holding knives. They lifted them as members of an orchestra would lift their instruments. Jack the Ripper, as their conductor, gave the signal, and they all began to slash at me in unison. And then I...
Then you woke up.
What?
Then you woke up from this horrible hallucination.
It wasn't an hallucination. It wasn't. It's all true.
Then what happened next? After the oyster slashed at you, I mean.
I don't remember.
You don't remember because it never happened.
I don't feel so good.
Dr. Freud, don't you think he's had enough for one day?
Watson, dear friend, I'm so tired, so terribly tired.
Dr. Watson, come over here. I want to talk with you. I want to have a consultation. Your friend, Mr. Holmes, is suffering from a severe problem.
Oh, he simply had a bad dream.
Correction. Your friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, who is a delinquent of the first order.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Don't fight the definitive. Mr. Sherlock Holmes is suffering from acute paranoia brought about by his obsessive use of drugs. This giant rat of Sumatra was not simply a bad dream, but a cocaine-induced vision.
This is ridiculous. Dr. Sigmund Freud, I insist that you release me from your charge immediately.
Don't make a snappy judgment. Wait a minute. Now, I will give you my analysis of Mr. Sherlock Holmes. His problems began at an early age. His mother ran away from home before he was born.
But that's not fair to me. I never really knew my mother.
Yeah, but the Royal Navy did. Oh, that's a shrink funny. I couldn't resist. That's a big joke with the shrink.
That's despicable.
Nine. It's despicable. Despicable. Don't you know your pronunciation?
Boy, can't you see you're upsetting him?
Wait a minute, Dr. Sawbones. You let me take care of the brain. And you can take care of all the unnecessary parts. Mr. Holmes, pay attention! Mr. Holmes, your fondness for cigars and pipes is a direct result of missing your mother. Not because you were cross-eyed, but because of an oral fixation.
I've been telling him that for years.
Oh, shut up, Watson, you bigamist.
You want to know something? Once, when you wasn't looking, I hypnotized you, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, to study your subconscious.
Oh, very interesting. And what did you find?
I found out he didn't have no subconscious. All he did have was a second-hand conscience.
I was sick as a child.
Obvious lousy. Spying on your parents, watching your playmates. Mentally, you are undressing them.
No. I was merely preparing myself for my predestined role as the world's finest consulting detective.
Oh, boy, that's enough. You're doing more harm than good.
Watson, come here.
What is it, dear fellow?
'Twas brillig, Watson. 'Twas brillig and the slithy tones, dear Watson.
Yes.
I personally, I discovered the id. And I think that you are the id of idiot.
Watson, make him stop. Tell him it wasn't a dream. It wasn't.
I demand that you let Holmes leave this hospital.
Oh, yeah? If this giant rat story really happened, Then why, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, why weren't you slashed up by those giant oysters,
Elementary, my dear Siggy. Those oysters were using paper knives. I'm not. It's all true. The oysters are taking over, and Jack the Ripper is helping them. Moriarty is everywhere. Moriarty is everyone, Watson. You could be Professor Moriarty. It was brilliant. And the oysters told, and the great rat grew so big, and Teresa, oh, tell Bert Stover she's not dead. I saw her. Beware the Jabberwocky, dear Watson, and don't eat the cheese. It's spoiled. The giant rat, the giant cat. It's all true, I tell you. True.
Well, perhaps he should stay a while longer.
And now, Mr. Holmes, is your first therapy session. And now tell me, Mr. Holmes, were you beaten as a child?
Certainly not.
You said you were definitely beaten as a child.
I was not.
Yes, you were. Don't argue with me. I'm the doctor. Everyone was beaten as a child.
I wasn't.
Yes, you were.
Oh.
Now, trust me, and you'll end up as sane as I am. Now, tell me, Mr. Holmes. Tell me more about this Irene Adler first in your restaurant.
Who are you?
Me? I'm your mother.
Mommy! It's me! Your little Shirley! Mummy, why did you leave me, Mummy?
I had an appointment.
But you never came back!
Well, I got tied up.
For 20 years?
Well, it was a long appointment. Now, listen. Now, tell your mother all about this Irene Adler person.
Irene Adler?
Yeah?
The only woman I ever loved, Mummy.
I see.
But she left me. Just like you did, Mummy.
Well, why do you think that everybody leaves you?
Because I have bad breath. Jack the Ripper said so.
No. I told you that was all a dream.
You mean I don't have bad breath?
Oh, sure, you got bad breath. That was real enough. Believe me.
I believe you.
Now, tell me more about this Irene Adler.
Well, first, I met dear Irene when she was blackmailing the King of Bohemia.
And you arrested her.
No, I let her go.
Oh?
Well, I had to. I was secretly in love with her.
Oh.
But then she ran away to America.
And she never come back.
Oh, yes, she came back. But she married Professor Moriarty.
Oh.
So I dressed up as a fern and pushed him out of his penthouse office. Though accidentally, of course.
Of course.
But the contemptible cur refuses to stay dead. He keeps popping up everywhere. In fact, he's here now.
In this room?
Yes. I don't see him. Well, he's in disguise, obviously.
Obviously, Fluffy.
You see that fly on the wall?
Yeah?
That's not a fly at all. But Moriarty dressed as a fly.
Oh.
He's very clever. All right, Moriarty. Your foolish game is over.
Who are you talking to?
The fly.
Oh.
I mean Moriarty. Give yourself up, Professor. Oh, you're no match for the greatest detective the world has ever known. You won't come quietly? Aha! Then you leave me no alternative. I'll take you forcibly. Come along now. Hold still, you vile villain. Come back here, Moriarty. Come back. Now stop. Desist, Moriarty. Moriarty, you'll never get away.
Mr. Holmes.
I can follow you to the end.
Come back, Mr. Holmes. Wait, the session's not over. You stayed for 2 hours. The session's not... Hey, nurse, grab that loony.
Moriarty!
All right now, Mr. Holmes.
Who are you?
Me? I'm your father.
Daddy, it's me, your little Shirley.
Yeah. Hello there, kid. Sorry I used to beat you.
Oh, that's all right, Daddy. I still love you.
I knew it. He was definitely beaten as a child. I'm locking you up now. Come on with me. Come on.
I'm going to lock you up.
What are you talking about? I'm locking you up.
You can't fool me in that rotten disguise.
What disguise?
Moriarty!
Moriarty, wait a minute now.
I recognize you anyway.
Come on. You're coming with me.
You're coming with me. Come on now.
Guards! Guards! Drag him away! Drag him away! He's a loony bird! You don't call me Professor Moriarty, will you? I'll teach you! Oh!
I have called you into my consulting room, Dr. Watson, because I have deep concerns for your friend's mental health.
I'm in complete agreement with you, Dr. Freud. Exactly what is your diagnosis?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Sherlock Holmes has had delusions about a giant rat, a giant cat, some giant oysters. The giant oysters, by the way, it can be explained by his severe edible complex.
Don't you mean Oedipal?
Nine, edible. Edible. Read my lips. Edible. That means he eats oysters because he has delusions that they are going to take over the world. So, therefore, for the more and none is the less, he must conquer the oysters before they conquer him.
Poppycock.
You know, I don't like your attitude. Well, I was analyticizing your friend. He told me a couple other things that don't quite add up. He claimed he was attacked by a canine while dressed as a fire plug. On that, he tripped over a cat and knocked her off the London Bridge. He said, your wife, Dr. Watson, your wife was really two peoples in one body. and that one of them only spoke French. On that, she had an uncle who turned into Macbeth. Well, of course, these are all part of his psychosis. None of those things ever happened.
Quite wrong, Dr. Freud. Each and every one of those events is absolutely true.
Oh, really? You know, I'd better have a closer look at your subconscious. Hey, guards! Guards! Take him away!
What is the meaning of this?
I'm locking you up for your own good, Dr. Watson.
Now, see here, my good man.
Ever since I first read those unbelievable adventures you wrote, I knew that you suffered from a fabulation fixation. In fact, you probably drove Sherlock Holmes crazy with your incredible concoction. And just so you won't do it any more harm, I'm having you tied up and gagged.
What do you think you're doing? Okay, guys, I have called you into my consulting room, Miss Adler, because I have deep concern with your friend's mental health.
Shirley and I are more than just friends, Dr. Freud. We've got a thing for each other.
I see. Well, I have long been studying Mr. Holmes, and I look to you for help in curing him.
Well, I think I can solve this whole mess right now.
Oh, good. At last we're getting someplace.
Shirley is the most honest and true, honorable man I've ever known. And if he says he dressed up as a piece of cheese, then I believe him.
You know, I've suspected you of having an infatuation fixation for a long time, Miss Adler. You've driven Holmes crazy with your oversexed glands.
Oh, but I love Shirley.
Oh, more the reason I should lock you up. Guards! Take it away!
Oh, what are you doing? I've never done nothing
You
like
should be
this.
ashamed of yourself, Miss Irene Adler, you shameless hussy. Arousing a poor, agitated loony like Holmes with your sexual wiles and your daring cleavage and your sensuous smelling perfume there. Oh, and your thick and lustrous locks and your drowsy come hither look. Oh. Boy, you're going to need a lot of treatment, baby. Hey, guards, make sure you tie her up real good for me. called you into my consulting room, Mrs. Hudson, because I have deep concerns for your friend's mental health.
You know, Dr. Freud, I've been having the very same concerns ever since he moved into my flat.
Then you agree with my diagnosis?
Oh, to be sure.
Oh.
Mr. Holmes suffers from delusions that he's a great detective.
That's exactly what I think.
He only became a detective because he subconsciously was searching for his missing mother.
It's amazing.
Mr. Holmes' problems stem from this unknown desire to fulfill some other profession. He does not like his life as a detective at all. Ergo, ego.
Ergo? Ego? It's got a nice ring to it. Ego?
There. What are you doing there?
I'm writing that down. That's a nice phrase you said there. Oh, very good. I got to remember that.
Well, I've done everything I could to help him, Dr. Freud. But you know, this Dr. Watson is a terrible influence on him.
That's just what I thought.
And that shameless hussy, Irene Adler, tempting him that way all the time.
I knew it.
I've taken good care of Mr. Holmes when I could. But with Watson dragging him off on these so-called adventures, well, I can run up those stairs to help him, but I can't run all over England.
Oh.
If only I could have Mr. Holmes all to myself. Ah, then, saints preserve him. I'd be able to cook for him and nurse the poor lad back to health.
I'm glad you uttered that, Mrs. Hudson, because I have Mr. Sherlock Holmes locked up right now in the loony bin.
Oh?
That's right. You won't have to chase him all around the countryside anymore. Mrs. Hudson, how would you like to be my resident cook therapist?
Oh, really now? I'd be charmed and delighted.
Oh, good. This assured us smarties at the medical gymnasium that mine edible complex theory is correct. They never liked me anyway over there, you know.
How long have you felt this way?
Oh, ever since I was a little boy, chick. That's right.
Come now, tell Mama all about it.
You know, my mother said to me when I was a little boy, she said, Freudie, you gotta shape up, you know, because you got real problems. And that's when I started thinking that, you know.
Well, now, I brought up your dinner, Mr. Holmes.
Mrs. Hudson? What are you doing here?
Why, I work here.
Am I back at Baker Street?
No, you're at the Vienna ward.
I must be hallucinating.
Here now, eat up, Mr. Holmes.
I can't eat. I won't eat. The oysters are coming. The oysters are coming.
Come on now, Mr. Holmes. Eat your oysters. I've pickled them in a lovely mustard and ice cream sauce.
I won't eat it.
Oh, sure you will. Guard, hold him down. I'll spoon feed you, and you'll love it. Oh, that's a good lad now. Eat up. Eat up. Now move them jaws. That's it. Up, down. Up, down. Ah, yes. Lovely oyster. Much better for you than that cheese you're taking a liking to. That's it. Chew it up good. Up, down. Up, down. Up, down. Up, down. Well, now, Dr. Watson, I've come to have a therapy session with you. Now, I understand, Dr. Watson, but it is for your own good. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't take that gag out of your mouth. It's part of your therapy. Now, I'm going to be telling you what I think is wrong with you. You've spent so many years fabricating those ridiculous adventures that you've started to believe them. Oh, it's a sad case when a fine doctor like yourself spends all his waking hours fantasizing like that. And if you were going to be fantasizing, the least you could have done is given me a bigger role in them. Now, there's no use apologizing now. I finally got you where I want you. Yes, and tightly bound. Yes, that's right, Dr. Watson. Eat your oysters. see you're all tied up, too.
Oh, Mrs. Hudson, thank goodness you've come.
Yes, and just in time, too, I see.
Oh, please untie me quickly.
Now, let's not be too hasty. I've been personally hired by Dr. Freud to be his therapist cook.
Oh, Mrs. Hudson.
The therapy part.
Oh.
Now, I got a thing or three to say to you, Miss Irene Blackmailing Adler.
No.
You've twisted and perverted Mr. Holmes for years with your wanton ways.
No, I never
He's
did.
never gotten over the time you were blackmailing the king of Bohemia.
Me?
And he caught you, but then let you go free.
Well, he had to say he was secretly in love with
You think it's been easy all these 3¼ years, going up and down these 12 steps. Well, 11 if you don't count the broken one. Waiting on himself, night and day, day and night, through fiddle playing and pipe smoking, and me never getting a second glance. Well, you blackmail one key, and it's out head over ears for you.
No, I'm not surprised.
Well, you thought you had a hold on Mr. Holmes with your evil claws.
No, I mean,
But I've got him now.
But Mrs.
I've got him locked up, bound and gagged.
Never have.
Away from the lascivious likes of you.
Me, lascivious.
And now, it's time for dinner.
Oh,
Here, eat your oysters.
No.
Here, dearie, just one after the other. Well, who knows, you might find a pearl and crack your teeth on it. One more oyster, my dear. Eat 'em up.
We have truly made much progress, and I feel that you are all ready for the final stages of your therapy. Except for Dr. Watson here, whose subconscious is too far gone to be able to cure so fast. But the rest of you, I am very pleased to reveal to you that once you go through this group therapy session, that you'll be completely in touch with your true selves and what you really want to be, and you'll be cured. Now, I want to introduce to you all my little daughter, Anna, who is going to play for you on the piano. Play, Anna.
If I were not the head shrinker, something else I'd rather be. If I were not the head shrinker, oh, what could of me? You'd hear me all day long, singing out this song. Chop it to the left, chop it to the right, can knock it to the ground. Chop it to the left, chop it to the right, can knock it to the ground. Oh, very good, Anna, yes. Play.
If I were not a landlady, something else I'd rather be. If I were not a landlady, a golfer I would be. You'd hear me all day long, singing out this song. Tee up, address the ball, hit it down the green. Tee up, address the ball, hit it down the green.
Chop it to the left, chop it to the right, can knock it to the ground. Chop it to the left, chop it to the right, can knock it to the ground. Oh, very good, Mrs. Hudson, very good.
Something else I'd like to see. If I were not
cannot get through the crowd. Shovel to the left, shovel to the right, cannot get through the crowd.
Now, Mr. Holmes.
If I were not a super sleuth, something else I'd rather be. If I were not a super sleuth, a beekeeper I'd be. You'd see me all the day, and it is what I'd say. Busy bee, make me a lot of honey. Oh, busy bee, make me a lot of honey.
Shovel to the left, shovel to the right, cannot get through the crowd. Shovel to the left, shovel to the right, cannot get through the crowd. Shovel to the left, shovel to the right, cannot get through the crowd. Shovel to the left, shovel to the right, cannot get through the crowd.
Well, now that's a strange way to cure people of mental illness. The Misadventures of Sherlock Holmes, Episode 8, Tales from the Vienna Wars, as part of the continuing series Usually Whimsical, the Joe Bevilacqua Radio Theater Collection. And I'm Joe Bevilacqua. Joining me in the cast were Vernon Morris, Henry J. Quinn, Jan Meredith, Gwendolyn Lewis, and the script was co-written by myself and Robert Sir Arthur.